named Alizze, and I never thought that the people I trusted most would one day become the reason I lost everything. 10 years ago, I was happily married to Daniel, or so I thought. He was charming, successful, and we were trying for a baby. But life has a funny way of exposing truths, and mine came wrapped in betrayal. It started with a sudden shift in my best friend Sophie's behavior. We had been inseparable since college. She was like a sister to me. But over time, she became distant. She started avoiding conversations about Daniel, and every time we were together, she'd glance at her phone nervously. I should have trusted my gut. One night, Daniel came home late, again. He said he was stuck at work, but something felt off. His shirt smelled like perfume I didn't wear. When I questioned him, he got defensive. The next morning, he left for a conference out of town. That was when I decided to follow him. I booked a flight to the same city, told no one, and waited in the hotel lobby where he said he'd be staying. Hours passed, and then I saw them, Daniel and Sophie, laughing as they walked arm in arm into the elevator. She leaned in and kissed him. I froze. My legs went numb. My heart didn't just break, it shattered. I didn't confront them right away. I flew home and spent 3 days in bed, thinking, crying, screaming into pillows. And then, I got up, wiped my tears, and began my plan. I filed for divorce without telling him. When he returned, I served him the papers with a calm smile. He tried to explain, begged me not to destroy his image. But I was done. Sophie had the audacity to call me, pretending she had no idea I knew. I blocked her. For 10 years, I didn't speak to either of them. They got married a year later. I rebuilt my life from scratch. I moved to a new city, started a small interior design business, and threw myself into work. Slowly, I gained clients, made connections, and eventually built a brand name. By year 7, I had contracts with luxury hotels, celebrity clients, and my own studio. Then, one day, I received a call from a man named Mr. Westwood, the CEO of a huge real estate firm. He wanted to hire me for a mansion redesign in my old hometown. I hesitated, but then he sent the address. It was Sophie and Daniel's new house. I smiled. When I arrived, Sophie opened the door. Her face went pale. She stuttered my name, eyes wide. Daniel looked like he'd seen a ghost. I greeted them politely and said, "You hired me. So let's get started." Their new house was grand but cold. Sophie tried to act like nothing had happened. She complimented my success and kept saying how happy they were. But I noticed the cracks, the way Daniel looked annoyed every time she spoke, how she kept correcting him when he spoke about the design. For weeks, I worked on their home, all while learning more about their lives. Sophie was insecure, constantly suspicious of Daniel. He, on the other hand, was buried in debt. Turns out, his new business was failing. They needed this redesign to impress investors. That's when I made my move. I told Sophie I had a contact who could invest in Daniel's company, a wealthy businessman who trusted my recommendations. She jumped at the idea. I arranged a dinner meeting and brought along my silent partner, my fiancé, Luke, a billionaire tech entrepreneur who adored me. Sophie didn't recognize him. Daniel was desperate. Luke asked sharp questions, exposed their financial flaws, and eventually declined to invest. The look of devastation on their faces was priceless. Before leaving, I turned to Sophie and said, "Funny how life turns around, huh? 10 years ago, you stole my husband. Now I design your home, control your financial future, and walk out with a man worth more than your mansion." She didn't respond. A few weeks later, I heard they sold the house, and I married Luke 6 months later, in a ceremony so lavish it made headlines. Sophie watched from a distance, alone. Because in the end, karma doesn't knock, it breaks the door down.